Good evening and welcome back to the Shadows of Drakkenheim. This is the Dungeon Dudes weekly Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition live stream campaign. And my name is Monty Martin, running the campaign as Dungeon Master.
And I'm Kelly McLaughlin, playing Wilhelm Wolfsbane, the human swashbuckler rogue. And we're joined today by our good friends.
Jill Donitis playing Rudy Whitaker, the Shifter Eldritch Knight.
And Joe O'Gorman playing Wrath, the Aasimar Warlock.
Thank you for joining us once again. If you are just tuning in for the very first time, welcome. We are the Dungeon Dudes. Kelly and I post new videos every Thursday on our YouTube channel and now every other Tuesday as well, where we cover everything Dungeons & Dragons, including advice for players and guides for Dungeon Masters. So be sure after you finish watching us here tonight on Twitch or on YouTube that you check out more of our awesome stuff on YouTube as well at youtube.com/dungeondudes.
And you can also join us live on Tuesday nights when we record the campaign live on Twitch. You can check us out from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Time at twitch.tv/dungeon_dudes. And we have all the previous episodes of our campaigns up on YouTube as well.
Yeah, and of course, you can also catch the show in various podcast formats if you want to take it with you too, whether that's Apple Podcasts, Google Play, and Spotify. This week's episode of our show has been sponsored by Easy Roller Dice. We have been using Easy Roller's awesome dice and their dice trays and accessories in our games for quite some time now. Kelly's got a dice tray, I got a dice tray, and they offer some of the most affordable, durable, and best looking dice out there. Whether you want to get just a basic set of plastic dice, you can actually get bulk dice from them as well. Like they do half-pound and pound bags of dice, so you can get your whole game group growing, or you can get something really, really special there as well. If you check down in the descriptions, we've actually got some discount codes for Easy Roller Dice as well that you can check out as well. They should be good through the summer of 2020, so check those out and check them out at easyrollerdice.com to get some brand new shiny math rocks for your next D&D character.
I like that.
Awesome. Well, with that, I suppose we shall return to the shadows.
Drakkenheim is no more. For 15 years, we foolishly believed the madness and mayhem of that crumbling city was confined to the ruins. We were wrong. Insidious horrors have crept out of the shadow of Drakkenheim into a world unprepared for such nightmares. Tales of strange magic, swirling haze, and unspeakable terrors echo through the villages and towns surrounding that accursed place. Now, the Dusk Wardens, a new band of heroes, are tasked with driving out the seeping tendrils of the spreading darkness before it takes root.
Do it.
Welcome back to the Shadows of Drakkenheim. When last we left our heroes, they had ventured deep into the depths of the wetlands in the southwestern portion of Westmar. There, following the trail of the villagers of Shaftburg, villagers who have been recently over weeks and months being taken by their neighbors deep into the wetlands to this strange ruin for some nefarious purpose. All that is known is that those who return come back changed, loyal to some sort of entity or ideal that is gathering and dominating and controlling perhaps even the hearts and minds of the people of Shaftburg. Having traced them to these strange and ancient inscrutable ruins of elven origin, our heroes have descended into the depths of a long sunken tower. There, they have encountered some interesting resistance, and now, having faced several setbacks along the way to making a stealthy entrance, they now stand in the midst of this crumbling, waterlogged hallway beneath the stairs that lead up to the wetlands above. And there, Wrath is now surrounded by a group of the villagers, while Rudy and Wilhelm hide in the shadows of the nearby cavern. Wrath, you stand in the chamber over the remains of that massive mutated crustacean-like creature that you defeated last session, only minutes ago, really. There, several of the other villagers that you yourselves had been using as cover, Donovan and two others that were tied on posts, awaiting apparently the paralytic poison of this crustacean-like creature, this mutant. Now you are yourself surrounded. A woman with octarine eyes looks upon you, unconvinced by your disguises. Before her is a man carrying a great axe, wearing armor. In the midst of them, they are surrounded by almost a dozen other villagers. Again, most of them are clad in common clothing, some of them wearing robes or hoods over their faces, others wearing bits of armor and other scraps. They're not well equipped at all, just with what they would have found on their own. Nothing that you would find outside Shaftburg itself is amongst them. They have rudimentary clubs, swords, weapons. It seems that amongst the group of them, whatever weapons they have found have been collected amongst those that are here. Meanwhile, one of their number is going to the three that you tied up, that you had taken captive, and is taking the sackcloths off their heads and unbinding them, releasing Donovan and the other two that you had earlier taken prisoner. As she does so, she turns to the man and she says, "Griff, should I tie him up?" And Griff nods, vacant stare on his face, looks back to the woman behind him and says, "Aye, Magda, tie him up. We won't be able to paralyze him with the poison, so looks like you'll be suffering for a little while, but don't worry, you'll soon learn the truth of it all."
Good. I plan to learn all truths. The one truth is that Bruce is my master. And I'm just gonna hold out my hands.
As you hold out your hands, the lesser, the other woman who is untying the other villagers comes up to you, takes the sackcloth that was over Donovan's head and drops it over your head.
Hey.
And she takes a rope.
Smells.
And she ties it outside the sackcloth over your mouth.
Hey.
And then begins binding your hands behind your back. Rudy, from your vantage point in the darkness, you can just see this happening. A few of the others, they are all themselves carrying some torches or some other torchlight. They're all human. And so just out at the edge of the light, you can spy around and you see the woman tying the bindings around Wrath. As she does so, the man Griff calls out with his voice around, and turns to Donovan, and Donovan says, "There's two others. I don't know where they've gone. A man with an eye patch and a shifter woman with a pair of axes. They fight very, very well, but I think the one's name was Wilhelm, the other was Rudy, or something like that. This one can change his face." And he pushes it at Wrath, and Griff nods and turns to the rest of the group, and you hear him say, "Class, Brita, we don't know where they could have gone. You three, did anyone hear the stairs again, the bells?" And the group nods around and says, "No, none of the bells have been disturbed, and there's general agreement. So they haven't gone back up above. They're down here, and they couldn't have gone far. Spread out and start looking for them." Wilhelm and Rudy, what do you do?
I telepathically tell Houdini. How tall are the ceilings here?
In this cavern down here,
yeah.
The ceilings reach up approximately 30 feet overhead. It's a rugged ceiling, so maybe at some points it might be as high as 40, and at some other points it will be much lower.
I telepathically instruct Houdini to fly as close as he can to the ceiling and go and ring the bells on the stairs.
Okay. So from where Houdini is right now, let's pull up our map here. From where Houdini is right now, that might be a little bit of a challenge.
Okay.
Because Houdini's right over here with you.
Yep.
And to get back to the stairs, he's going to have to fly back over here, which is a well-lit area surrounded by several of the other villagers.
Okay. Darn it.
Rudy, you're a little too far away for me to whisper to you, aren't you?
A little bit, but Wilhelm, you can certainly move back over to approach her to converse.
Okay. I move back, and I'm like, "Rudy, stay put. If they're searching for us, they don't know where we are. We can get the element of surprise. We can save Wrath. We just need to stay put, be still, hide, and when the time is right, do you remember the old boar hunt from a few years back?
I think so, yeah.
Do you remember the grab and stab?
Of course I remember the grab and stab.
Stay hidden. We grab and stab."
As you speak to each other, you hear Griff say, "Donovan, Luds, Hans, are the three of you all right? Are you wounded?" And they say, "We're just a bit wrecked up." So, "Well, the three of you head back. We'll take care of things here." And you hear the footsteps of a few people moving along. And you then hear a voice call out from over here, in this sort of general direction. You hear, "They're not hiding back here." And you hear others, you hear other voices saying, "Did any of them go back the way that we came?" And others say, "No, I was looking this way the whole time." And then you hear someone else say, "Well, then they must be in the caverns. There's no other place for them to have gone."
Can I, is there enough darkness and rubble around this ledge here that I can throw my hood and cloak up and, kind of crouch down and attempt to blend in with the rocks and wall to, try to really hide there?
Yes, there certainly is.
Okay. My goal is if I see somebody come by and they are alone or there's just two of them, then I'm hoping Rudy and I can take them. But I want to hide and observe.
Okay. I'm just going to put an indicator, a yellow indicator here to show you which of these. Some of them are carrying torches and thus illuminate the area around them, but others are not. So this man here and the woman beside him, they move together and they start moving out into this area. And the two of them, their eyes scan about. Wilhelm, give me a stealth check.
27.
Okay. You see the man raise the torch over his head, and he looks and shines the light against the cavern wall where you're hidden. Wilhelm, now Rudy, you're right behind this jutting out rock, so I'm not going to have you roll quite yet, but Wilhelm's right in the area of it. He shines the light right out, and he looks basically right at Wilhelm, and then turns away and continues to walk in this direction with the other woman beside him. And now the two of them, as they walk out, they walk along the kind of the rocky precipice of the water over here, and he's shining the torch down over and looking at it. Another woman comes up with them with with another torch down over here. These two, and these two are also going along the other edge with the torch as well, just kind of scanning things around. In the meanwhile, Wilhelm, you managed to catch the one that you had shot earlier that raised the alarm. This one right here. That man with Donovan, Luds, and Hans. The four of them start moving further and further south, and with them is another torchbearer. And you hear her say, "Come, we'll get you a bowl of stew and tend to you all." And meanwhile, the woman with the octarine eyes moves forward with them with the other man, and a pair of the others are bringing Wrath. So Wrath, they push you. Do you come along with them?
Yes, and I'm going to go into Bruce's mind as I'm walking. Okay. So I'm going to just kind of trail behind with Bruce, keeping his distance in the caverns.
Okay.
If the torches go out, what's the lighting?
There is none. There's a bit of luminescence from the water itself, but without the so you'd be able to see a little bit where the water is. It glows very softly, but there are no other light sources beyond those that are carried.
Okay.
Wrath, what did you want to do with Bruce?
So I gotta go into. I switch into Bruce. It makes me blind and deaf, but I mean I have a bag over my head, so life is normal. And I'm just gonna kind of cuddle up to Wilhelm, and in Wilhelm's mind, he can hear they're taking me, but it sounds like Wilhelm saying that in his own mind.
So Wilhelm hears they're taking Wrath.
Okay. They're taking Wrath, I think to myself, I think.
It's all very confusing.
I do, like, now that the light's not on me anymore, I kind of look over and I can see through here.
Okay.
I can see that Wrath is being taken.
These two have gone up over here. And as they do so, let's just see. Okay, Rudy, I'm going to have you make me one stealth check. Because you're trying to be hidden and you don't have to take the disadvantage for your armor on it.
Oh, sweet.
Just heavy breathing.
9.
Okay. They pass by you.
Oh, man. What? Okay. I let out a sigh. And I look at Rudy, and I guess hand signals aren't going to work. I do a little
Do you see me?
Barely.
Yeah, no, you actually can't see each other from where you are.
Oh.
I mean, because of the way the rock face goes. I was gonna say I have dark vision. You don't have dark vision.
No, I'm gonna have to follow the torches.
But if you move, I can see where you're going.
I am going to come to the edge of this area here, just creeping along, staying in the rubble, and watching to see where Wrath is going.
You feel Bruce just like kind of like just grazing the back of your heel.
This cat is persistent. Ugh.
You are being quiet. This is good.
I'm being quiet.
You hear in your mind again.
I mean, you're saying things that are obvious to me, but yes, that's my own inner monologue.
They have split up. I do not know where they are taking me.
They're split up. I don't know where they're taking Wrath. I'm going to follow.
Okay. All right. In another moment, you see this group moves forward with Donovan, and they head through this passage here and out of sight. And you hear this man, Griff, he calls out through the hold, "Any sign of them yet?" And you hear the others call back, "No, nothing yet. They must be hiding somewhere." And Griff turns to Blythe, to the other woman, and says, "Blythe, should we just take this one now? Or should you and I stay?" And the woman responds, "Magda, Rupert, take him. We don't want them to come out of nowhere and just try something, and to try something. So you two, take him ahead. Griff and I will stay here until the others can be found." And so these three, they take Wrath and continue bringing him forward.
Ooh.
Wilhelm, that's about as far as you're going to be able to move without completely blowing your cover. As soon as you move any further forward, there's not going to be anywhere that you can hide.
Are they looking in my direction? Or like, can I wait until their backs are turned and try to do like a quick dash over here and then like a dash? Like, can I dash from point to point? Or is that not something that's going to work right now?
You can try.
The best words ever.
Rudy, I don't know where you are or what you're doing anymore. The grab and stab duo is not united.
What are you gonna do, Rudy?
I'm assuming this cavern is very echoey.
Yeah.
Level 100 play.
What way are these two? Oh, why is it not going? Are these two facing?
They are looking into the water.
And is this rock? How high is this rock?
That's just rubble. That's just ground cover. So it's about hip high.
Okay. And which way are these two facing?
They are looking down into the rock, into the water as well. So they're not looking in your direction.
I want to see if I can sneak over and like dive down behind this rock.
Okay. Give me a stealth check.
17 with disadvantage.
Wow. Okay. With uncanny stealth, you slide down behind the rock.
Okay. I tell me this is possible. My plan is to, like, I don't know what Wilhelm's got. I was like, guess the grab and stab is a solo unit. And I want to essentially sneak as close as I can up to these two.
Okay. From where you are.
And prestidigitate the torch out.
What's the range on prestidigitation?
10 feet.
10 feet. Okay. All right. So you'd need to be there to just snuff the torch. Nice. Okay. So you
yes.
So I'm gonna have you give me one more stealth check.
Hot dice.
9.
A 9? Okay. You step out from behind the rock, rush towards them, and as your feet catch on the dirt, and the woman turns around to you, and she cries out, "Look out! Behind you!" Roll for initiative.
Am I still hidden?
Guys.
You are still hidden.
I love it. The it just like you blow out the torch. But
all you see is this red code coming towards you, and then the lights go out.
It's very very, very cool.
That didn't roll great. Bring on the minions. That's all I'll say. Oh, and should we mention that we leveled up?
Oh, yeah, we forgot to talk about that. Let's do that after the break. But yes, everyone is level 6 now, if you're wondering. Okay. Oh, man. Okay. So
It's just such an intense situation.
Yeah. Oh, you guys might have me beat. Rudy, what did you get for initiative?
10.
10? Okay. Wilhelm?
17.
And Wrath?
11.
Well, you beat everybody. So you guys don't have surprise, but you do have the drop. And Wilhelm, you are hidden.
Okay.
So, and what we will say is that, Rudy, if you still want to go ahead and prestidigitate, you can. But because you were discovered, you have the chance to change your mind if you want to now. You came out, you weren't quiet enough. This villager saw you. And so they are, they call out, and in that moment, both Griff and Blythe down here spring into action, and you can also see that, well, the other group with Donovan is long gone, at least for now. The group with Rupert, the people that you know as Rupert and Magda that are leading Wrath away are still down over here in the corner. So we got a long sprawl of a situation happening right now. But Wilhelm, you are the first one to act, and you are hidden.
I'm going to assume that with Rudy's sound, everybody is looking in her direction.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody's going to notice. Wilhelm is going to try to... Let's see. Okay, hold on. Can I bonus action dash and like try to take this path here to try to like block line of sight as I kind of like run on my tippy toes?
Can you mark where you want you want to get to there? I see.
Yeah, by going around the staircase and bonus action dashing so that I'm like trying to stay out of line of sight of everybody being distracted. As soon as I hear, look out behind you, I break for it.
Okay. Give me one stealth check, though.
All right. 23.
Okay. From what you can tell, you have remained hidden through this.
Okay. Now, from there, I am going to pull out my crossbow, and I'm going to attempt to shoot the guy with the torch that's by Wrath.
Okay.
And because I'm hidden from them, do I get advantage?
Yes, you do.
Sneak.
That is going to be a 22.
Let's see the damage.
Yeah. And we're going to sneak attack that. That's with the crossbow. Oh, nice. That's 20 damage.
This is basically a sniper shot. What happens?
Yeah. So with a flip of my cape, I dash on my tippy toes around the staircase to the corner. I press myself up against the corner. I do like one of those like quick look around. I line up where the guy is, and I shoot him right through the back of the neck. And then I kind of slam myself up against the wall again and hope that with the distraction, nobody knows where that came from.
Okay. They collapse to the ground. Roll me a d6.
I got a 5.
As they fall to the ground, they fall on top of the torch, and the light back there goes out.
Well, now I can't see you, Wrath.
I'm over here.
Wrath's
No,
over there.
no, behind you.
Oh,
Okay. Rudy, it is your turn.
I'm getting up behind this rock. They see me. They turn around and shout. I decide I'm not going to snuff out by using prestidigitation, but instead, I'm going to shove the torch person off into the water. I don't know what kind of water it is, so hopefully that will turn the torch out.
Okay.
I said, well, you just had to make it hard for you, didn't you? So that is...
Just throw them off the...
Oh, and I crit. I crit the guy by shoving him
Okay.
into the water.
I'm going to give him a dexterity saving throw. He gets a 6. You push him onto the precipice. He falls into the water with a splash. The torch goes out.
Perfect.
And he takes some damage in the ensuing fall as well. Looking a little injured as he stumbles down. So you can still make one more attack and a possible bonus action as well.
Okay. So then the axes come out. Houdini comes to my side, and that is a 22 to hit this person beside me.
She's the one that saw you and was like, she's pointing at you as you run up to her.
That's the last point she's ever gonna get, because 11 damage.
Okay, so here's what happens. You come out of the shadows. She turns around, she says, there, and you just immediately go into freight train mode and body check the guy beside her off into the water. Take out your axe, and her arm is still pointing, and the axe goes right through her forearm and into her face.
Woo!
nice.
I don't appreciate the whistleblowers, all right? And then I guess I have my bonus action for my offhand.
Yeah.
Do I have to can I take out a hand axe and throw it as my bonus action?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. And then to the guy in the water, I'm just like, you're done, boy. And I...
oh, gosh.
No, I won that. So
Okay. You throw the
right
axe
beside his head.
Yeah, it whiffs right by his ear, and he can't like. Oh wait, actually, you have advantage because he doesn't have dark vision, and you put out the light.
I did.
Yeah.
Wrong type of piece. 12?
That is a hit.
Oh gosh. 8 damage.
Yeah, he's face down, now a floating corpse with an axe in this chest.
Oh,
Rudy.
How far did I go? Did I go?
You only moved 5 feet.
Oh no, because
yeah,
because I got to where I was before.
Yeah, then we rolled initiative when you were there. Yeah.
Okay. Are both these rocks as big as each other?
Yeah, they're more like rubble than in stalactites. So they're not that you could hide behind them. Yeah, but at this stage, you would now need to spend an action to hide, because you aren't already hidden. So you would need to be able to be in a position where you could take either an action or a bonus action to hide, because you're not.
No, I'm just thinking. Yeah. I'll move at least closer to it, and I'm coming toward, like, I see the other people across with the torch, but I'm not like looking where I'm walking. I'm looking at them as I'm coming with my axes, and I'm like, y'all are next.
Okay. The townsfolk, several of them, they see this go down, and the light persists just enough for them to see that something has gone wrong. And so these two rush over to the edge of the water, and they see you there, Rudy. And this one here is shining their torch so they can see you. And the other takes out has a longbow and fires it towards you, getting a 15 to hit.
No.
The other doesn't have a ranged weapon. She's just shining a torch. But you hear them all shouting out, there she is. That's the one that he was saying about. And one of the others says, she's a fury. I'll take her. And the one with the large man in the armor with the axe holds his weapon in a pair of hands. He gestures towards the villager over here, and he says, keep taking him, we'll be fine. And so Wrath, she's gonna start pulling you back. She's gonna grab you and start pulling you. Do you want to resist?
Yeah, like, can I know they tied my hands and they have this rope around my neck. Can I, like, push the hood off?
With your hands? So what you can do is, with your turn, you can try to break out. You can try to pull it off. Your hands are behind your back, so getting your hands up to your hood is not feasible.
Okay. We're gonna cause a distraction. I'm going to use radiant consumption. So through my hooded veil, you see these bright lights start to radiate out of where my eyes and my nose and my mouth would be, my ears. My whole body starts to just like become this bright light. And I radiate bright light in a 10-foot radius and dim light for 20 feet. And everybody that's within 10 feet of me takes 3 radiant damage at the end of every turn.
Okay.
So I just start becoming this like this almost like anti-light, like it's like almost like a magical glow, and it just starts radiating out of me, including myself. I also take damage.
Okay. It sears the woman that's holding you, and she releases her hands off of you, and you are now illuminating lots and lots of light.
I'm a torch.
I'm just gonna.
That helps me out.
Yep. Well, your hands are tied behind your back. You, the radiant consumption. She takes her hands off of you. Do you want to move?
And I can kind of see through Bruce. Like I'm still seeing through Bruce's senses, just not my own. And I almost imagine, I don't know if this is how it works, but like I'm seeing myself outside of my own body. And I want and it's like trying to control a person with a controller, like a robot. And I'm gonna turn myself around and run the other way.
Okay, where do you want to move to?
Blind and deaf, I start running back into the room.
Stumble forward.
So I just turn around, and my arms are tied behind my back, and I have a hood on, and I just like, and it's just like radiant burning, and I'm kind of running, into the room.
Okay, Griff sees this, and he Magda, get control of him, and he takes out his great axe. And he is going to rush towards Rudy. But Rudy's 45 feet away. So he is going to actually need to dash to totally get right up to you there, Rudy. But he's comes up to you with his axe in hand, ready to fight. And he says, "You call those axes? This is an axe."
It's on.
On. That guy wishes he never said that.
Okay. And then finally the woman with the octarine eyes, Blythe, she steps forward and she says, "You aren't getting anywhere now." And she casts Fairy Fire on you, Rudy. Make a dexterity saving throw.
5.
Okay, you are illuminated with Fairy Fire, and attacks against you have advantage, and you will not be able to hide.
All right, bring all the attention.
Thank you, Rudy.
I'm coming, Rudy.
Mm-hmm. So this octarine light illuminates you, and casts all around your body. You're glowing, and you're shedding light in a 10-foot radius. And attack rolls against you will be made with advantage, and you can't benefit from becoming invisible. We go to the top with Wilhelm.
Wilhelm rushes up to Wrath, who I know there's a bit of blinding and burning light as I come close, but I brave it and I move through and I pull out my dagger and I'm going to cut the bonds on his hand.
Okay.
And as I do, can I cut the bonds on his hand and remove his hood in one action? Or is that too much?
If you use your cunning action, yes.
You know what? He can remove his own hood. I cut the bonds and I say, "Rudy's going to need our help, Wrath." And I'm going to take a step back so that I'm outside of his light. And using his illumination, can I see this person at all?
Yes, you can.
Oh, but I used my action, so I can't even take my crossbow expert shot.
Correct, yep.
All right, well, then my job is done, and I have freed Wrath and told him to help Rudy. And that is going to be it for me.
Okay.
I guess I'll bonus action, cunning action, dash, so that I'm over here in this corner hiding.
Okay.
So that I run back into the shadows.
Okay. The villagers. So over here, she's got her longbow out. She does not. She's got her torch. So she is going to rush around over here. She doesn't really have enough movement to get up to you. But she's got enough to take a shot at Rudy with advantage. Getting a 17 to hit.
Shield!
Okay, you're going to cast shield. Okay. And the other villager is going to chase back. Magda is going to chase back after Wrath. And she's going to try to grab you. She just runs right up to you and grabs you. So make an opposed strength check.
Oh, my pleasure.
Or acrobatics. Athletics or acrobatics.
5.
I got a 9. So she's grabbed you.
And it's burning. It's a whole lot of burning sensation.
With that, we go to Rudy. I lost my initiative order.
And I say, "Listen, sir, you may have a big axe, but I don't need a big axe to be effective at smashing faces, and I just go in with the 2 axes. Houdini, get over here. That is 11 plus 8. 19? 19 to hit?
That is a hit. Though he is clad in heavy armor, the attack gets through.
13 damage.
Nice.
All right, second hit. Another 19.
If the first one makes it, the second one will.
9 damage. And the third hit. Oh, that's 21 to hit. Boom, boom, boom. 11 damage.
Nice.
Wow. The cavalcade of scything blows from your axes leave him bloodied, and he grits his teeth, wipes the blood off of his face, and takes his axe back into 2 hands. Anything else from you, Rudy?
I just give him the stink eye.
Okay.
It's the battle of the axes.
Alrighty. We go to Wrath.
So this person grabbed me from behind. The first thing I want to do is I want to move my hex onto it and give it the ability I'm going to choose that has disadvantage is strength.
Okay.
And I want to. Would this be something that could I have Bruce help me get out of it? Could Bruce like not attack, but like
Bruce
fly in his face or something? Yeah. So I'm gonna have Bruce come over and I'm gonna try to break out of this grapple.
Okay.
I get a 14.
They get a 13.
Woo! Woo! And then I'm going to whoop 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 and try to run away.
Okay. They get an opportunity attack, but they only get a 7 to hit.
And I'm gonna run this way, kind of up near the stairs.
Okay.
And I'm still burning radiant awfulness.
All right. Griff takes his weapon and swings with advantage against Rudy, guided by the fairy fire. Wow. Okay. Only getting a 14 to hit with advantage. But where the first swing goes down, the second swing will be a 22.
Yeah.
Will that go through?
Do you still have shield?
It technically ended on the start of my last turn in the way.
No, you cast it on your last turn, didn't you?
I cast it on a reaction previous to my turn.
Right, that's correct. Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay.
I know.
So that is a hit for 14 points of slashing damage as he brings the axe back down upon you.
Oh, gotta update. Oh. Is that all you got? I say it with a bloody nose.
Yep. Okay. So finally, Blythe, the woman with the octarine eyes, turns back around and says, "You will not escape so easily." And she herself casts Hex upon Wrath.
Hey!
Sneaky.
Curse me. Ah! This is what I've been doing to people?
And she'll hex you for your dexterity.
No, that's my cunning.
And then she's going to fire her own Eldritch Blast at you.
Like looking
And I
into
still
a mirror.
I still
She
have a hood on,
fires 3
right?
beams.
I'm just standing there with a hood on,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
around.
So so she has advantage on her shots.
and there's this bright light. Like I'm a target.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
I'm a target for anything.
Okay. So yeah, you still have the hood on. So she gets a 25 to hit with the first beam. A 19 to hit with the second.
Yep.
And a 16 to hit with the third.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so you are rocked by 3 Eldritch Blasts. For a grand total of 30 points of force damage.
Oh. Ow. Oh, I'm against the wall as these because I have no idea where they're coming from, and they just interact with me as
Yeah.
I just get flung up against these stairs.
Basically, yeah.
Imagine you're like,
As the bolts of just eldritch force reach out, she doesn't even extend her hands. They fire out of her eyes. Just pew 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 pew.
laser beams.
Man, that's so cool. I wish I could have seen that. It was this damn hood.
Can you technically see through Bruce's eyes?
Yeah, Bruce is watching it. He's like, he does his little pause. Covering. Oh, what a shame.
Alrighty. Back to the top with Wilhelm.
Wilhelm, as the final Eldritch Blast goes off, charges out of the darkness at the person who is chasing after Wrath and is going to attempt to skewer them.
Okay.
That is going to be 23.
That is definitely more than enough. It's a quick stab. What happens? They do not have even if you roll minimum damage, they don't have enough.
Yeah, and I wasn't going to use sneak attack because I'm saving my sneak attack for my next move, but
Okay.
Anyway, so they don't even see me coming. They're too busy reeling from the blinding light of Wrath after Wrath broke out from the grapple, and they don't even see me coming. I emerge from the darkness just screaming with my rapier in hand, and you just hear a quick and then I drive the rapier through their side, so it goes right through their chest from one end to the other, and then as I pull it out, they kind of just slump over. And I continue, without even skipping a beat, I twirl around and continue over to this rock. And I yell out to Wrath, and I'm like, Wrath, get your head in the game. We need you here. And I pull out my crossbow, and I'm going to shoot at the magical-eyed woman.
Okay.
But I guess I wouldn't get sneak attack against her anyway, unless, am I still hidden from her? Or is she aware of me?
She is aware of you now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
and I will also note that because she's hexed Wrath, the fairy fire on Rudy is gone.
Ah.
Ooh.
Good. Well, I'm going to shoot her anyway. Getting a 20.
Okay, that is a hit.
And that's going to be for a simple 6 damage.
Alrighty.
And then I'm crouched behind these rocks yelling at Wrath to get back in here.
Okay. Rudy, your turn.
Right. I just keep taking blows at this guy, trying to show me how to use an axe. First shot is a crit! Yes!
Oh, man!
Ah! Okay. Yes.
Rudy, you're a crit monster.
Monster! So that's
It's so good.
14 damage.
Oh.
Yeah.
He grunts under the force of the blow.
Second shot. Ooh, 25 to hit.
Jeez.
Ah! 9 damage.
He falls to one knee. He's still standing. But he's still alive, but falls to one knee.
All right, I'll take my third shot against him. Another 25 damage.
Oh man!
Nice. For 7 damage.
It's enough.
Oh man!
You're just chopping him. You're chopping him so hard.
What happens?
I lower my axe towards his neck and I say, I hope you've learned your lesson about proper axe wielding. And I chop his head off.
Rudy Whittaker, the head taker.
Oh man!
Red Huntsman?
Red Huntsman, yeah.
Yeah. Breathe it in, Rudy.
The neck shooting little squirts of blood.
And I just turn towards the person that's been firing arrows at me and I say, coming for you.
You're scared.
This person here drops the torch and runs and dashes and starts running up the stairs.
Do they run past? I guess Wrath is blind.
Yeah, I have no idea.
That is the goal, is to really not have to fight them, but have them run away from you.
The other, she over here, she fires a single arrow at you, Rudy, which goes wide and then continues to run as well. The woman with the octarine eyes, though, they burn with octarine light. Wrath, it is your turn.
Can I try to take the helmet, the hood off?
Yep, you can.
Okay. I run up to the one with the octarine eyes, and I'm gonna cast Vampiric Touch. It's the spell I picked up for my level 6, and I'm going to press my hands into her temple and press my thumbs over her eyes, and I say, "You do not know the power you are dealing with," and I'm going to try to drain the life out of her.
Okay.
I get a 22 to hit. And for 13 necrotic damage.
It is a hit. And it goes through. So you regained half those hit points. Vampirically.
13, 7 or 6.
We'll give you a 7.
Aww.
Because I don't have Hex anymore. So that he's fine. Everything's fine. And Bruce is going to run up and help for Wilhelm on her.
Okay, let me just fix something here. Alrighty. I think that brings us around to... Well, Griff's dead. That would be Blythe. Okay. She grits her teeth and she says, "You know not the forces that you meddle in." And as she does so, she touches her brain, and this pulse of gleaming energy fires out from her mind itself, sending streaming beams that look like the synapses of a brain just firing out in the area in front of her. Wilhelm and Wrath, the two of you can both make intelligence saving throws.
Oh no.
I got a 16.
I got a 7.
Okay, Wrath, you fail. Wilhelm, you succeed. This is synaptic static. Oh, that's a lot of sixes. Oh, that's a lot of six. Wow, that's a lot of sixes. Okay, that might be the. Okay, so that's a grand total of. Wow, I rolled 5 sixes, so that's 30. It's 40 psychic damage.
If I save, do I take half?
Yes.
If I uncanny dodge, do I take half of half?
You can't uncanny dodge a spell. It's got to be an attack.
Fair. So I take 20.
I'm down.
Oh,
That's
man.
too much for Wrath, and his eyes roll back into his head, and he just like collapses on the ground.
Yep. It in your mind are lingering uncontrollable truths. But yeah, Wrath, you're down.
Oh.
Bruce is still there. Because Bruce wasn't in the area. You put Bruce in her square, but yeah, she cast it to get the two of you. You still have Bruce's help, Wilhelm. It's your turn.
So Wilhelm blasted. He like kind of blocks the sight of it a little bit, but he has to like give his head a shake, and he looks up and sees Wrath just collapse and goes, "Damn it, these damn magic users!" And he charges and pulls out his rapier again and just goes for the skewering once more.
Alrighty.
So rolling with advantage. Oh. 19.
It's a hit.
And I'm going to sneak attack with Bruce counts as an ally.
Yep.
Good. Oh, that was a sad roll. That's going to be 14 damage.
All right. She's bloodied, and she cries out in pain. The energy of her hex spell dissipates.
And with my blade still in her, I pull out the crossbow and like push it up against. If I miss, then that's going to be ridiculous. But I push it up right against her, and I'm going to fire my crossbow as a bonus action.
Okay.
Getting a 17.
That is also a hit.
For an additional 9 damage.
She pulls her head away as you level the crossbow at her. She pulls her head away just off to the side, and the crossbow bolt goes through her nose, leaving just this awful scar on her face. And she blinks for a moment, but she's still standing.
I'm then going to continue to move. So that was 20. So I move back towards where Rudy is.
Okay.
You sure you want to be in that?
She's got her sights.
Rudy, it's your turn.
Okay, I see Wrath go down, and I literally go into like a mama bear mode, and I'm like, and then you just see me bound up to her. I'm like, well, I'm out of the way. And me and Houdini are coming at. I'm pretty sure I can get 30, right?
Yep.
30. And then Houdini, and I'm just like both axes up, and I'm like, you don't hurt my family, and I bring them down on her. So okay, because I'm helping, I roll advantage again, and I get another crit.
Let's find out the damage, but she can't survive that critical hit.
No, she can't. It's 15 damage.
Wow. As she turns around and feels her nose where the crossbow bolt went through, you just bring the axe right into the middle of her skull.
You know what I imagine as well as that, as I'm running towards, I use my bonus action to shift. So I've already shifted into this like maddening like wolf woman, and I'm like, so I gain 9 temporary hit points. and then bring an axe down on her, and then
I imagine that all happens super fast. Like I come in, I stab, I shoot, and then as I'm moving away, you're charging like towards me, and I like move out of the way as you run past, just to like it all happens in a matter of seconds, and it's just a little dance.
That guy's up the stairs already.
Yeah, it's their turn now. And you hear the bells on the stairs running. Okay. Down over here is our last survivor, and you actually see them slink into the darkness in this direction.
Well, I had one more attack because I took one. I was like, can I hand axe it?
With disadvantage, yeah, you could.
Ugh, we're gonna do it. We're gonna try. You know what? Disadvantage gives me 20.
That's a hit.
Just
11 damage.
So just at absolute maximum range, you see the archer over here turning to run and just take the axe that was buried in the warlock's face, pull it back, and whip it into the darkness where it lands in the and collapses the chest cavity of the last survivor as the other runs frantically up the stairs, the bells ringing in the staircase.
And I just turned to the other two. Well, I turned to Wilhelm and I say, "Can you help him?" I point to Wrath on the ground.
I have no healing potions.
I have some ointment. I have some of
I awkwardly, like at first I'm like looking through my own bag, and then I'm like, and then I like start going through Wrath's pockets, and you have ointment?
Yeah, I have the Kieg Tom's ointment. I think
I pull out the ointment and I unscrew the lid, and I'm just like, do I put it on his body or in his mouth? I'll just do both. And I like smear it all over your face and some into your mouth, and I'm kind of just like, Wrath, buddy.
18 hit points.
What happened?
You ran around for a while with a bag on your head and didn't do much.
It was the way.
Are you okay?
I have seen everything. My brain is very cloudy. I met with Bruce in another place and time.
Rudy, he's gone insane.
It was beautiful. Why did you bring me back? It was awful. It's awful here. This mortal realm is confusing and irritating.
Your job isn't finished, Wrath.
And I get up.
As long as I have breath in my body, I will bring you back from the edge every time, sir.
Thank you.
Yes,
I'm just a little confused. It pierced my mind and I collapsed. It was like getting hit with a sledgehammer in my math, and I forget and remember everything.
I think we might need to take a bit of a rest. I think we might need to fall back. I'm not doing too well. Unless, how much ointment do we have? Can I rub it? Can all of us cover ourselves in ointment and carry on, or should we head back up the stairs and find a safe place? I mean,
I would say, you know what? And I shift out of my shifter form. I say, I mean, I could use a little break. Clean up some of this blood on me, you know.
The good news is we've cleared out several people in here. Now, if we leave, they're going to know that we were here, and they might be able to spend that time searching for us. I say that if we were to take a break, we need to be somewhere hidden and safe, and we might need to keep watches. We're in dangerous territory, but I am wounded, and I can see that the two of you are wounded as well. I don't think we can carry on forward right now.
I want to quickly check the body of the mage the woman?
Yeah.
Any personal effects or clues?
Yeah. Yes. On her person, she has a few. She has a few things that are on her person. The first thing, as you kind of turn her over and look at what is through all the blood.
Rudy.
Still intact despite all this, she has a scroll case on her person and 6 thin vials of various colors of glowing liquid, and she also has a strap to a belt on a chain. It looks like a shard of delirium that has been encased in a glass globe. So it kind of has this, as you actually hold it up and twist it around, it actually looks like a cat's eye in a strange way. Or like an eye with a very thin iris. Like that of like a like, you know how some things like cats and snakes have that very thin sort of eye. It's like a purple pupil amidst a completely clear glass bulb, and the bulb that it's contained in, you realize that the glass surrounding the piece of delirium is completely solid.
Are those of value, Wrath?
We will have to study the vials, and I'm going to quickly grab all the stuff and especially the delirium, because this could be like this is probably one of our more significant pieces, right? That we've found, and I don't think we've ever encountered like
worked delirium.
Yeah, like machined or worked or like created delirium or like used delirium. It's mostly just shards and pieces.
I mean, so far the only delirium where it was in the only delirium we've discovered before this was in Tierhaven. It was the piece at the farm.
It was a rough rock. How would something like this get shaped? Someone would have to know what they're doing in order to make something like this.
Now, I'm no magic expert, so I would defer to Wrath on this, but it appears that they're using delirium as a source of their magic. They're not corrupted by it like in Tierhaven. They are using it.
It appears they are weaponizing it.
Well, that's
I would still say their minds are corrupted by it. Look what they're doing here to these townfolk. Obviously, it's no good what they're doing with it. I'm starting to get a bad feeling from this. I don't know what the Academy's doing wanting this kind of rock.
Well, the last thing we need are groups of people weaponizing this sort of crystal. So, as the Dusk Wardens working for the Academy, it's our job to put an end to groups like this. Using delirium for evil.
But I hope the Academy's not got any sort of weird notions about doing this as well. I know they're curious and they're scholars, but who knows?
They made it sound like their mission is to contain. So I see no reason to not trust them just because we found evildoers in this cavern who are using it. We can hope that the Amethyst Academy's goals would be to contain and stop this sort of thing from happening.
Well, I won't make any judgments yet, but so far, as long as they're willing to, fund us to get rid of these groups, I don't mind, but I hope we're not working for a wolf in sheep's clothing is all I'm saying.
Wrath, the only thing that you can see by looking at this is that in the Academy, and just from the news that you've heard, the Academy has fashioned arcane foci using shards of delirium, and a key part of that process is encasing the shards of delirium in glass. So
this isn't that uncommon to see. Like I've probably seen it before.
It's not that it's uncommon. It's that this it looks like it's entirely possible this could be something that was made by the Academy and has just fallen into their hands, or someone has done copycat work of what the process that the Academy has developed. After all, knowledge does not tend to stay hidden for very long.
Most mages or magic users would have to come through the Academy anyways, so there's a good chance that she was once a member.
Mm.
Right.
Or she killed a member and stole these items from them. Either way, it's important that we contain it's important that we get rid of these sort of weapons, or at least contain them.
Comrades, I appreciate you helping me. I was, as my thoughts become more clear, it appears now that we are in a very dangerous situation. These are not foes to be taken lightly. We may have stumbled upon something quite significant in our investigation.
I know before I was a little uneasy about murdering townsfolk, but since arriving at this temple, I think all bets are off for us. It's kill or be killed in here, and we need to put a stop to whatever's happening in this temple. But in order to do that, we're going to need to be at peak performance. And right now, I'm covered in a lot of blood of me and various other people.
Put my hand on your shoulder and I say, sad that you had to learn this lesson, but I'm glad you're seeing that this is the way outside of our little town. It's really survival of the fittest, and we're here to do a job.
Rule number 99, when given a difficult choice, the option that helps the most people is the correct choice.
If we're going to save the rest of this town,
then we need to do, yeah.
All right. Now,
I can hide us.
You can hide us?
We can. I have a safe place. It only takes a few minutes to create, but we have to decide, like in the other caverns previous, do we want to stay close to danger or retreat and regroup?
But you can make us a safe place. With magic?
Yes. I do fear, though, that some of these, and I'm going to gesture to the mage, the hired
mage.
help, they seem to have vision that goes beyond that of mere mortals. Just like those winged creatures that were infused with delirium. It might give them some kind of sight that is only rivaled by Bruce.
If we head back up the stairs, then the bells would be an alarm even for us, for other people coming out. So maybe we go back to the boats and create your safe place there.
I think if that's the best choice to keep us safe while we rest, then let's do it.
They already did send others. There's one that made it up the stairs and 3 more that retreated that exact way. I do not know if the boats will still be available.
The bells will give us indication.
There was one that went back upstairs. The others went deeper into this complex.
Oh, okay. The other friends. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, they were taking you to the south. That's the direction the other group with actually your former captives were freed and taken to the south.
Darn it. I can also set up this safe place down here if we are so bold.
Either up the stairs or in here. It's up to you guys.
Say, let's just do it down here and get it over. As long as we can see the danger coming, I think we'll be fine.
We should find a nice corner.
Maybe that room that we were all tied up in.
All right, let's go over here.
Okay. So
But,
back
like,
up
in the-
over here. It's easy enough for you to see now that this is also a dead end. This hallway over here just
let's
goes
do it
into
in the
a
dead end.
T section.
There we go.
Yeah, we can go in there. That's a nice little
Pocket.
little pocket.
And you're going to set up a
Pop.
tiny hut, I
Little
guess?
tiny hut.
Woo.
I start drawing ritualistic circles and ancient words, and I also leave a few treats on the ground that Bruce can eat
Okay.
as he licks the floor to get its true power.
You know how
Leave
like
who
a
didn't eat at the
cat
door.
walks in circles before they lay down? Bruce just kind of walks along the border and walks closer towards the center, and that's where the hut.
That's what really starts
Yeah.
the whole.
Yeah.
Paws on the ground, you know, like the
Yeah,
happy
he
paws.
needs, and then like a circle starts to emulate from that position, like a little dome that we
Yeah.
can like hide in.
Your cat is so weird, Raph. I don't understand.
Okay.
No one can
So you're gonna take a
comprehend.
short rest in the I guess this is basically like the cat hut.
Yeah.
There's a lot of cat toys. There's like a cat tree and a lot of like little like balls and stuff. Everything's very quiet in here. So no noise making stuff, but lots of places for Bruce. It's like Bruce's little like tent.
Okay.
And there's some beds that people can use if like there's people around.
As you take your time taking your short rest, you are able to identify that there are taken from the body of the other mage, Blythe. She had on her person a scroll case that had within it 2 scrolls with bizarre eldritch writing. But you recognize but deciphering them, one is a scroll of Dimension Door, and one is a scroll of Hypnotic Pattern.
Ooh.
She had 6 potions on her person. 2 of them are potions of greater healing. One of the potions is a potion of heroism. One is a potion of invisibility. One is a potion of invulnerability. And one is a potion of speed.
Who wants what?
As I'm kind of like deciphering them, I have a kind of a feeling as I hand Wilhelm the potion of invisibility, Rudy the potions of heroism and invulnerability. How's everyone doing for healing?
I don't have any healing right now, so I could use a potion.
I don't have any healing either, but like
You guys can take the 2 potions of greater healing as well.
and it
So
was
one each.
invulnerability.
Heroism,
And-
invulnerability, invisibility, and speed.
Raph, do you want to keep speed?
Does that increase my? Is it just like a? Actually, I'm gonna. Maybe we should give that to Rudy as well.
If you want me to take a speed, you keep the greater healing,
Okay.
and then we can always distribute it as we do
Yeah,
them.
yeah.
I
I
like
just feel like you would use those more.
I like us sitting around in a tent, bandaging up like an invisible tent, and you're just reading off these potions, and we're like discussing amongst us, like, "Well, I could definitely turn invisible. That might be handy for me."
I'm
And like,
holding it and I'm just
Yeah.
looking at it, and then I go, "Oh, it's speed," and I just throw it.
this one's speed.
looking. As soon as it clicks,
I'm just like testing them,
invulnerability.
being like, I'll take them.
throwing them at you guys.
So I also have a previous potion of heroism that I should probably use at some point.
And it's you get 10 temporary hit points. They last for an hour, and the bless spell.
So an extra D4 on like all your stuff. That's a good potion. We might want those going back in here.
Yeah, well, I'm thinking that we're gonna have to fight this big
Them?
thing that they were bringing us to, and we might want to stock up on these potions. Maybe not all at the same time, because you never know what kind of magic can happen when you do that.
Yes. Drinking multiple potions I've heard is bad. Raph, you probably know more about that than me, but Between becoming invisible and becoming heroic, I think that I'm about ready to take on this temple.
And finally, the Shard of Delirium, it is stable. And for all intents and purposes, it acts as a pearl of power.
Hey, there you go. Raph.
Oh,
It's an extra spell slot for you, Raph.
this is I can feel the energy radiating from the delirium.
Raph, did you just get a cat's eye magical toy? Is that what's just happened?
However,
And I'm rolling it around on the ground, and Bruce is like, swatting it.
It is of slightly unstable design. Thus,
classic.
when you use the spell, if you regain the spell slot with this Pearl of Power,
Mhm.
the spell that you cast with that spell slot, you roll a d6, and on a 1, it triggers a wild magic surge.
Trigger all the
Not
wild
perfect.
magic.
It's got a crack in it from Rudy when she hit the the back of that. It fell and went, and it like had like a.
Still works. Still fine. I like buff it up a little bit. It's
Glue it.
fine.
Gluing it, just like get it back together.
Just needs to spit shine. It'll be good.
All right. I think with you all taking a short rest, this is a good place for us to take ours.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so we will be back in just a few minutes. And we are back from our short rest. We have all finished our consumables and are back to play more D&D.
If you're enjoying the stream and you want to help support our work, check us out on Patreon. You can find out how by following the links below or at patreon.com/dungeon_dudes. We also have a phenomenal Discord community, and we thank all of our patrons and those that have joined the Discord community for growing our wonderful community where you get to hang out with us and chat about all of the nerdy topics you want to. There's a lot of great ideas that get tossed around in there, and a lot of inspiration for future episodes come from our Discord community, which is through our Patreon. So if you are going to join our Patreon, make sure to join the Discord, and you can help contribute to future videos that Monty and I are making for our Thursday videos. And you can just chat with us about all things D&D and any nerdy topics you want.
Of course, don't forget to look at the links below for our Teespring store, where you can find all of your favorite Dungeon Dudes t-shirts, including Troll Killer, yes, and some new ones from Shadows of Drakkenheim. You can check out bit.ly/Dungeon Dudes merch.
And of course, we don't do this alone. In our game tonight, we use a variety of incredible assets produced by talented artists. These have been graciously given us with permission to use, and we use these on our stream games, and we sometimes use them on our own too. But you can use them at your table too, and we encourage you to check out some amazing creators. I'm going to list off a couple of names. We've got Roll20 with the virtual tabletop, Battle Maps by Alex VanDerAa of Neutral Party and Ross McConnell of 2 Minute Tabletop. We have custom maps created using DungeonFog and Wonderdraft. We have player character artwork by Jeremy Cole. We have some NPC token artwork by Matthias Berben, and monster token artwork from the D&D 5e Monster Manual and other source books. We have special effects tokens by Gabriel Pickard, and of course our music by Tabletop Audio. So thank you to everyone.
And finally, running on, at least on my side of the screen, don't forget to check out Easy Roller Dice, who have generously sponsored this episode. They sent us some cool dice as well. I think Kelly's got a set. I got a set. We got to get Jill and Joe a set at some point as
I really
well.
like your dice trays. I think those are so cool.
Yeah.
You've had
Dice
those
trays are my
forever, and
favorite.
they're
I love them.
so solid, and we use them all the time. So I really want to get one.
I love
Wolf
the-
one.
Yeah.
I love that they have like the rim where I carry all my dice and then my rolling spot. It's great.
Easy Roller Dice is perfect for getting great, affordable dice for your characters. Whether you just want some colorful, well-priced sets of dice to get new players up and rolling. You can get a pound of dice. You can get big bags of dice of all various colors, or you can get nicer ones that are made of metal and more exotic materials as well. So they really have the full range of all the types of dice, whether you want something fancy or just something fundamental. So you can check them out at easyrollerdice.com. We got a discount code if you check the description on YouTube that you can use that. It is good through summer 2020. So check that on out and you can save big on your next order of dice as well by using our codes. So please check those out. A big thank you as well to Easy Roller Dice for helping us keep the lights on. So with that, shall we return to the shadows?
Why not?
Yeah, indeed. Well, as you all finish up your short rest, one thing that we have to cover, we were supposed to cover it last time, we were supposed to cover it at the top today, but we didn't cover it, is you guys leveled up! And you're level 6 now.
After our long hiatus, we decided we earned an extra level.
Yes, so you've all leveled up to level 6. Any fancy stuff that you got from your level?
I got expertise, so my additional expertise. So I now have expertise in acrobatics, investigation, stealth, and thieves' tools. So, you know, I'm all in on the roguishness.
I either got a feat or ability score increase. So I actually went ability score increase, adding 1 to my strength and 1 to my con. Rudy is so strong.
So strong, and I picked up a new spell, the Vampiric Touch, which didn't do much when I got Synaptic Static in the face for 40 damage. But I'm excited to keep trying to use it. And Entropic Ward, it's an interesting little reaction that I can impose disadvantage on an attack against me. And if it works, I get advantage on them for my next attack roll.
Nice.
So it's a nice little, like, see into their mind.
It's a spell or skill?
It is a skill, and I can use it once per short rest.
Very cool.
Very, very cool. And so please be sure to notate as well the new treasures that you have acquired from the corpse of your fallen enemy. You, as the protective ward fades down, I would like you to all roll me a d6.
Oh, I knew it was coming.
3.
2.
1.
Okay. Oh boy.
I as it's coming down, I'm like, Bruce, where's my book? Where's my book? And I just being way too loud.
Okay.
So loud that Houdini's like, ooh, ooh. Can't hear him.
Okay. The air down here smells. It is a combination of just of mostly still dirty earthy water and the passage of time and dust. It is damp, it is wet, and whatever purpose this building served that buried long underneath these wetlands, only the elven runes give a slight indication of what it might have been. We will find out the consequences of that one soon enough. But for now, what will you do?
Well, I
retreat.
I think our best plan is to head south where they were taking everybody and try to find out where the leader of this ruin is, the one behind the dastardly plot of Shaftberg.
I agree. I think we should put some of these potions to use, though, don't you think, Wilhelm?
Well, I don't know how deep this goes, so I don't know if I want to drink this potion, because these potions only last a finite amount of time. So if we sense danger, or we think we're getting into a situation, or we hear something ahead of us, then yes. But I think we could go for a quick wander, at least down the way that we came from, and see if there's any threats. If you'd like, I can take a quick look quietly.
We've given them an hour. If they haven't come looking for us, my concern is that they might be on high alert. They may be expecting us to continue forth.
Yes.
Do we have any plans to keep them on their guard?
Rule number 24, if you think it's a trap, it probably is. And so we've given them an hour, it's probably a trap. If they haven't come looking for us, then they're expecting us to go looking for them. Now, we could try to get the drop on them, but the problem is that we are unfamiliar with this territory. So the question then, I have a thought. When we were in the caverns, the one that Rudy hit in the back of the head with an axe as they were fleeing south in the caverns. Perhaps they expect us to go through the ruins where we saw everybody else going, but maybe if we stick to the caverns and head south, we might be able to find a different path down, that maybe a less known path with less eyes.
Say we at least get the familiars to get up a bit further as we follow along that path, but I agree. Let's try that and see if we can get a little bit of a mapped out area of this place.
Rudy, I have a favor to ask. If we're going into the dark caverns, if we lose illumination, I might need a rope, or perhaps you can guide me by putting a hand on my shoulder. I'm no good in the dark.
So what you're saying is you need a leash just in case for me to pull you along if we get...
Now I didn't say a leash.
I mean, we could tie it around your wrist.
I've tried that with Bruce, and he did not enjoy it.
We're not, forget it. Forget it. It's,
Listen, how about this? I'll take the front, you take the middle, and Wrath, you take behind.
All right.
That way, just in case, you'll be in between two people that can see in the dark.
Sounds like berries to me.
And were any of you going to spend any hit dice to regain any hit points? Please remember.
Yes.
I did, yeah.
Please remember to update on both
mine.
D&D Beyond and on Roll20 so we can see it in both places.
Just how squishy we are.
Mm-hmm.
How squishy I am.
Yeah. Because I know sometimes the folks that watch along on Twitch are like, how come your hit points aren't... They look at the overlay because it updates your hit points as you update them in D&D Beyond. And it's like, it doesn't change. But so that's that's on us. It's not a technical glitch. It's a human glitch.
I'm just forgetful. Guys, I'm still trying to remember that I have luck. How like
you're so lucky.
How can you expect me to also remember I have hit points? Come on.
We need 2 sticky notes.
All right.
So, south through the cavern.
Yeah, we're going to take the Cavern Path.
So you want to head down this path?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm going to send Houdini further up. Oh. Da-da-da. So we're going to move over here. Through this way. Guys following along.
Yeah, Bruce is up there with Houdini. I feel like they've become quite close. It's nice to have an animal companion. Bruce likes the company of another winged creature.
And it's 60-foot dark vision throughout the group, correct?
I believe so, yeah.
So there is a soft illumination on the water. It glows just a little bit. There might be like some phosphorescent algae or fungi underneath the surface of the water here and there. So you can see just roughly that the curvature of the cavern itself continues down along like so. Quite extending a fair amount out from there and forward. And then with the edge of your vision, you can see that the ground gives way to the water about here, and then it just continues off as sheer cliff face from there, reaching up to the cavern walls. But there is a mound of quite a large amount of rubble, and what looks like a bit of a passageway somewhere in this area.
Shall we try the passageway?
It's either the passageway or the water, and I've had enough wet boots to last me a lifetime.
Can Bruce squeeze in to that if he goes over to this what could be a collapsed passageway?
Well, actually, there's enough space that someone could clamber over it, and as Bruce looks down and sees, it actually connects up back to the South Passage directly.
That doesn't really get us anywhere secret now, does it?
Right.
Unless there's only one way.
Right. It looks like this hall here might continue a bit further, but this is a collapse over here, and these two rooms. You know that these two rooms are here, but you haven't investigated any of them. The room beyond here is covered in rubble and strewn in debris. Its purpose lost to time.
With the glow over, like, all the way over on the far left in the cavern, does it look like it wraps around and continues? Like, over here?
That it continues further in that direction?
Yeah.
It's entirely possible that it may, but even standing further out to here, you would... The water, there's a bit of a flow to the water in that direction.
We could. How deep does the water look?
At the edges, edges of the water, it's only a few feet deep. But getting out further on, it seems to deepen quite a bit until it becomes just a brackish blackness.
Well, friends.
Can I send Houdini over just around the corner to see where, like, I'm going to fly him over here.
Okay.
Just to see if you can see where it goes down.
All right. As Houdini flies out, he can see that and Houdini does have dark vision as well.
Yes.
You can see that the water continues to flow out, and then here at the very bottom, it actually looks like the water is draining down a very small chute or passage out from this point. And then with the little bit of Houdini's fluttering, though, you can see that there is a sharp cliff and a bank edge right down here of solid rock.
There seems to be some sort of bank on the other side. Drains out.
We might get a little bit wet, but it seems like a path that they wouldn't be watching. They wouldn't want us. They would expect us to go through the South Passage. They might not expect us to swim to that cliff.
Was the water just water?
I mean, you saw that other man fall into the water, and he seemed...
Well, he fell and then he got an axe in his head, so I don't know if he had necessarily time to react to it.
I mean, the corpse is still floating over there, with a little bit of blood just draining out.
Nothing's dissolved it or anything.
No.
Okay.
Well, I'm going to trust my gut. I think. Rule number 92, listen to your gut. And I kind of hop into the light water.
You can see that in the water, there is thick, slimy algae and tendrils of plants in the water itself. These plants themselves are, as you look at them more closely, they're bioluminescent. And they're providing the small lambent light that is reflecting all through the water here.
How is the water? Is it pleasant or is it horrible?
It is freezing cold.
Oh,
It smells, and there are glowing plants in it.
I regret this decision. My feet are cold. They are wet.
Should we have gone up and gotten the boat?
Is there a boat?
There is no boat.
Is there any signs that they use this like as a waterway, or is it just an underwater cavern?
There is a small amount of flow to the water here. This lake that is under here appears that it is draining out over here very slowly, though. The flow of the water is very, very slight.
Can one of you send your friends to investigate further to see if there's a throughway down there? Perhaps we saw a cliff, but
yeah, Bruce, as long as he can stay within 100 feet, he'll
cliff and a bank.
Also check it out.
Does Bruce fly over like he's walking on the water?
Yeah, he'll just tiptoe over the top of the.
Your catch is okay, Bruce.
He is not my cat. He is my master.
So Bruce can see. So as Bruce comes around to this chamber, the water fills this chamber and is perhaps about 10, maybe 15 feet deep in here. It is flowing out towards the south, where only about 1.5 feet above the water surface at the base here, where does the passage continue. So you would be mostly underwater with only like 1 foot maybe or so of head clearance, and the water appears to be softly moving in that direction. Over here, though, there is a sharp cliff 20 feet in height that leads up to a ledge that appears to continue back some distance.
Friends, I'm already in the water, but I'm going to leave it up to you. Do you think that this is ridiculous? My attempt here is to take an unknown path.
Is there any handholds on the, not handholds, but rough, where we could climb across instead of going in the water?
Yeah, could we climb around, or do we need to? Is the cliff too steep, and do we require to get into the?
Or have climbing gear?
With climbing gear, it would be much easier. But otherwise, it is a little bit of a you'd need to swim. Climbing gear would make it possible.
I have.
You could try to get along the ledges.
Piton.
Yeah, I have 10 pitons.
I have rope.
I'm already in the water.
Here,
yes,
Rudy.
It would be
Let's
a lot more
time
consuming to climb and stay dry than it would be to swim.
It would be what? Sorry,
It would be considerably more time consuming to climb across the walls of the cavern and the cliff than it would be to swim. That's all. Because you'd be going horizontally across. You would need to be creating the handholds and whatnot. It's not impossible.
And the water's flowing that way, so I feel like I could just lay on my back and let it carry me. Friends, what do you think?
Well, you're already in the water, and I climb down into the water as well.
Okay.
I do not like being this wet.
It's unfortunate, but sometimes it must happen.
You are very cold, and you are all wet. It is like that. The water is almost freezing cold. This temperature of it. It gives you goosebumps up and down your skin.
I smell a little bit like wet dog. A little bit.
But you continue around, swimming through.
I try to get to the bottom of that cliff face.
Yeah, and so that cliff face is 20 feet up from the water itself.
All right.
Are we going up or are we going through the low cave?
Let me see if I can climb it. And I start to try to find handholds.
I'm going to cast guidance on you.
Yeah. With time, it's slippery, it's difficult. But if you slip and fall, you just splash into the water. But give me an athletics check.
What do I get with guidance?
An extra D4.
I'm push you. I'm like, you got this, Rudy. And I just kind of
17.
Yeah, it's slippery, but you're able to get up to the top, and from there you could lower a rope, making it easy for Wilhelm and Wrath to get up.
All right, and then I'll pull you all up.
I swiftly remove my boots and empty them of water.
And Houdini just nestles in my jacket.
You are in another large chamber, cavernous chamber here. This chamber is significantly drier than the chamber before that you came to after the cliff here. And in fact, the one of the things though that you kind of look down on in a little bit of unfortunate slight realization is that there's a bucket at the top of this cliff face and a pile of rags and straw. Isn't it? And you realize kind of what's in a bit of your clothes, and it seems like people were using this cliff edge as a latrine.
Just say, y'all come here. I'm used to this. I got 10 children. Yeah. It happens, and I prestidigitate all the waste off. I'm just like,
please, Rudy.
A little bit of waste never hurt anyone. Don't worry, boys.
Thank the gods for you, Rudy.
Sometimes you get it on you.
Mother knows how to take care of a little bit of mess, you know?
If I find out that this passage just connects right back to that south entrance, I'm going to be upset.
Probably does.
This is how you usually sneak, isn't it, Wilhelm?
So I pat you on the back and say, you gave it a go, you know?
Always look for the secret entrance. Actually, that's a rule. You know what? Rule 46. Always look for an alternate entrance.
The cavern here, though drier than before, wraps around, continuing south. But then there are bits of the flagstone ruins of the elven buildings here, and it continues forward because you can see in the room beyond there is a glowing pool of light illuminating the room beyond over this way.
I creep forward, sticking to the walls to see if I can get a better look.
Is there light in here? Yeah.
Yeah, this room is illuminated.
Oh, perfect.
By the light of the pool within.
Now there's 2 passageways here. Do we go south or more south? Oh, sorry, not a passageway. Big room.
Well, there does appear to be a path right this way.
Mm-hmm.
And there's the pool over there, which just seems to connect the room that we could have literally walked into, apparently. It's better to be cautious.
You wanted to climb the latrine.
Let me put it this way. Going around that way would have been way more advantageous had you not already killed everybody.
Oh, yeah.
It's better. An hour is
really quiet here.
We assume that somebody's looking for us somewhere. So it's still better. I still stand by the fact that we should be sneaky and we should try to take side roads.
I
stand by it.
I send Houdini over here to do a little wing around the pool.
Here in the center of this room is a large circular pool with slight steps coming up towards it. Around the pool at each of the 8 points is an elegant carved stone arch, forming a half arch reaching up over the pool. Each of these arches is formed from a single continuous piece of white and gray stone. And it looks like at one point they might have had several receptacles on the outer edges, because there are sconces on each of the arches that are made of a very almost a white metal that appears to have not really suffered the effects of age or time. These sconces, the water in the middle is emitting light, and as you look up with your familiars, the pool of water forms a bit of a shifting pattern, and it looks like either hovering beneath the surface of the water, which is perhaps only a few inches deep, are carved high elven runes of unmistakable magical purpose. For the carvings themselves still emit a faint octarine light. Looking it over, Wrath, you might need to come a bit closer to examine it more fully, but this pool, this dais,
Slowly
has
walk towards
an
it.
definite magical purpose of some kind and illuminates this room. Surrounding it, though, is considerable debris. In the corners of this room are stacked several crates, bits of chairs, bits of supplies, and in fact, as you come closer, you can actually smell the lingering smell of a cooking fire in this area.
Do we see any fire pits, or is the smell coming from a room adjacent?
The smell is following your nose, coming from a bit more in this direction, perhaps.
My friends, always follow your nose.
Rule number 23. I guess.
No, it is a rule. I just don't have it in front of me right now. But it was an appropriate time. I know that I have a rule for always follow your nose.
Yes, I've heard this. It echoes in my mind as I smell the sweet, lingering stench.
Rule number 19. Got it.
As you step into the room, you can see that the far room over here, across, is where the area ends. It comes to a dead end. This room is largely covered in, there are about a dozen makeshift cots and a small cooking fire, and several barrels and crates and chests of personal effects, in addition to an empty weapon rack.
How many did we take out?
I lost track. Rudy, how many heads are back there? It's a good way to keep track.
There have to be more of them. We know there's more of them down here.
Of course, we know at least 3 of them that should have been dead by now are out here. I don't know how many more are guarding, but can assume at least more. How many beds are here? But we didn't have them accounted for. They were up at the shack before.
Perhaps that path behind us. I start kind of doing like a walk around the room a little bit, and I'm looking for, are there any signs of an additional passage in or out of this area?
As you scan around, you can see that looking over the personal effects in this room, it looks like several of them were gathered up quickly. Scanning around, there was clearly a weapon rack along the wall over here. These rocks were being used as a makeshift eating area. There's a cooking fire over here. The cooking fire has been put out recently. The whatever is left in the food has been left behind here. Several of the cots, the beds haven't been made. They've just been left completely unmade. There's a few lanterns here, but many of them are gone. It looks like, but some of them have been left behind. You can surmise that many of the people were living here, but they've recently left and taken things that they think they might need with them.
I kneel down to the fire and kind of like poke one of the coals with my fingers. Can I surmise if they had left within the last hour while we were resting?
Yeah, give me an investigation check.
22.
Judging by it, this fire was put out less than an hour ago.
I come back to the
some
room.
of the coals are still like, you know, after like a campfire, like the coals are still kind of brittle in a weird way after they've gone out.
Yeah.
Like the fire has been put out, but like things are, and even though it's only been an hour, things are still a little bit warm. Yeah, less than an hour ago.
The fire was put out less than an hour ago, meaning that the people that we killed were not the ones who were camping here. It was additional people who have left in a hurry. The question is, where did they go? Are there any signs? I guess no. People have been moving through here all day, so there's no surmisable footprints or a path to follow.
There's just the one obvious path right now, correct?
Mm-hmm.
They either left up the stairs or they continued down that other path behind us.
I think we would have heard them go up the stairs with the bells, though.
Before, when we arrived, Bruce mentioned that the place is thin. Like worlds sort of falling on each other. I'm going to go back into Bruce's eyes and examine the fountain in this area.
Mm-hmm.
To see the thin.
Bruce's eyes. Looking at the pool itself, you see a hail of static. You can see, though the pool looks calm to the naked eye, it is choppy and rippling as if a thunderstorm is blowing through it, through Bruce's eyes. And the water, as the waves of the water wash and crash over each other, each rolling wave leaves the impression of an island, another world across it. And looking through it, through this whole space, it is a kaleidoscope of possible worlds connected to this very point. Bruce is drinking the water.
Does this mean it's safe to drink? And I approach the fountain. Bruce
hisses at you.
Very well.
It's hard. He finds great comfort in water from other dimensions.
Other dimensions.
This fountain seems to be some kind of focal point where many worlds converge. It seems significant as they have created their base, their life around here. Even their toilet is nearby. We should consider reaching out into this other world. Maybe this is where these either the brains or the creature that is behind all of this has made its way into our world.
I mean, before we do that, we should probably check this passageway.
Bruce finishes drinking, and as he looks back at you, Bruce looks back at you, Wrath, and says, it is no more than a shore for the shipwrecked, lost travelers trapped amongst the sea of worlds. This marking here, it is a teleportation circle, a destination, but not a point of leaving. People could come here.
Bruce has told me that this seems to be a one-way cat door. It allows those to enter, but none can exit.
Should we
This could mean that
lock this door?
this door could open from other worlds. They do not use it to leave, they use it to come.
Well, that doesn't sound
We should
great at
be
all.
Careful.
Wrath, I'm starting to understand why you are the way you are. If this is your day-to-day, I can understand how broken of a man you must be mentally, you know? I mean, no offense.
I've never felt more complete in my entire life.
This is the problem. I
start drinking from the fountain too. But just like Bruce, I lick.
Is there some way we can break it to stop it? Like, we don't want any more of these things coming through, do we?
I mean, I don't know how to break something like this.
Something this powerful doesn't rely on the foundations of the fountain alone. I guess that the power reaches beyond just the mere foundation of the statue. It would take more than smashing to close it.
I mean, I'm not going to sit here and stab the water with my sword. I say we try that other passage and leave this be for now. I can't see us using this or anything else in this room.
There's no inscription on it, is there? There's no writing.
There is a considerable amount of rune work in it. With casual inspection, you can infer this much. If you were to spend the better part of a day studying it, you could certainly determine a little bit more of its functionality, but it would probably take you about a day, if not longer, to decipher. And perhaps even a find like this could be something that you could spend weeks studying to actually determine whether it's operable, whether it's functional. That is not, with a casual glance, whether its state of functionality and the state of operability is actually quite questionable from casual inspection.
Do I know the language, or is it just advanced?
It's arcane writing. It's completely within your capability to decipher. It's just a matter of time to deciphering it is simply just something that takes time.
Okay.
Right, the best way to describe it is that arcane objects like this are not written so much in language as they are written in equations. Mm-hmm. And so you need to solve the equations in order to see what's going on. Or to draw a much more modern metaphor, imagine looking at binary code or assembly code, or even just any bit of computer code. It says exactly what it's doing. You just have to read it, and you have to know, not only because it's written in a nonlinear fashion, you often have to know what's written here and what's written here in order to understand what's going on here. That's the basic principle of all magical language, but it's what allows magic to work through language. But it just means it's time consuming to decipher it. Not a problem. Completely within Wrath's capability to decipher. Just gonna take time.
No one will ever be able to solve this, you two. Come on, let's give up.
I say we take
this
this
beyond anyone's capabilities.
I'm still waiting by the passageway, being and the passageway.
I approach Rudy and I'm waiting for Wrath to stop drinking the water.
I finish. I'm ready now.
All right, I send Houdini a bit further ahead to see the passage.
Okay. The next passage then back over this way. The next passageway, conveniently, or inconveniently, depending on your perspective, leads off the edge of the map. And so, reveal. I always get the buttons. And so, let us use the magic of Roll20 to do a scene change very, very quickly. Okay.
This is the Dwarven Forge equivalent of like grabbing the other tray and
yes,
flipping
precisely.
it over.
Yeah. Just grab your
change
token.
dance. Scene change. Scene change.
Now remember, friends, be on your guard. Stay quiet. Let's get the drop on them.
Yes. No guarantees. Agreed.
Okay.
That water was refreshing.
I don't believe you. You are a terrifying, terrifying entity, Wrath.
All right.
And I'm glad I'm on your good
I
side.
tasted salt from the seas of Arnon. Probably.
I don't know what you're saying.
I don't even know. It just tasted like that. I've never been there.
Very well. You know, Wrath, I think someday we should have a long drink and talk about what it is that goes on in that head of yours.
You want to know? You want to be into my mind? 1 minute of time spent in my brain will be like a lifetime of agony for a mere mortal.
Has anyone ever told you you're very difficult to have a pleasant conversation with?
Yes. Bruce tells me this all the time.
We'll work on it. We'll work on it. Try small talk sometimes.
As you continue the passage along, there's a cooler air that comes along here, and you can hear the sound of flowing water around this passageway. It continues and curves back around after a manner. What will you do next?
I'll send Houdini to keep flying ahead.
Is this
Bruce,
illuminated at all?
No.
I can't do much.
Now, I think
Your hand on my shoulder.
Bruce actually has the ability to detect invisibility, but he does not have traditional dark vision.
No way, that's not true. That's got to be... Really?
He can smell really good. He's a good smeller.
Houdini has 120 feet of dark vision.
No, he has dark vision.
Oh.
Yep.
Dark
I
vision,
just wanted
60 feet.
Attention.
Yep.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah. Well, as you come around the corner here,
We got there.
you can see a room.
Use your resources.
You actually see light. For the room ahead of you is illuminated with an array of phosphorescent fungi of various shapes and sizes. Large capped mushrooms throughout this chamber in various colors of green, purple, and blue, with their white lights and kind of the spindly fungal bits hanging underneath, illuminating the room ahead. And as you come around the corner, you can see, and I will just really pull things back here for a moment, so we can really see what we're looking at here. I think I can safely reveal. How much can I safely reveal? Let's find out.
All of it.
Probably. Okay. So, and now I will just zoom out this way. Oop, too much. This is a very large chamber that you see ahead of you. The water from the previous lake is collecting here into a massive underground lake. The passageway has gently sloped downward as well, and it seems like it appears that there are several other waterways that are collecting in this point, for there are waterfalls tumbling down here, here, and here, filling this room with a massive lake that then drains out to the south again over here. The cavern sides, all manner of phosphorescent fungi and algae illuminate this room, and the water itself is actually covered in a layer of mist. Even up above on the cavernous ceiling overhead, which is about 40 feet above the water level, hang down various subterranean plants, in addition to the stalagmites. I always get
stalactites stick tight to the ceiling. Stalagmites might make it there someday.
Stalactites from the ceiling above. It looks like there may be as well a landing over here. And what you can actually see as you come round into this room are, on this side, there are a pair of boats. And on the other side, I had to move it. On the other side, over here, there we go. On the other side over here, you can see there are two boats over here as well. It looks like there was a boat that was parked right here, but it has recently disappeared from the area.
Well,
supporting the entire cavern, these points, these reach all the way up to the ceiling, supporting this entire massive underground cavern.
Rule number 6, there's always a trail to follow, and I think the obvious idea here is that whoever it is we are hunting took the boats across to that other platform over there and carried on that way. The question for you two, do we pursue directly? How rough does the water look over here?
Because the water is relatively calm. Though it is draining in, it drains out rather slowly. The map makes it look like it's going shh, but it's not. Okay. As you come around, though, although only one of the boats has been taken, the oars have all been taken for the boats. Mm. So it looks... and there's a few in amongst the various fungi as well. There's a few other crates stacked up here, and bits of that have some manner of provisions inside them. But again, looks like someone has gathered up as many valuable things as they could and beat a hasty retreat.
The solution is obvious, Wrath. Can you conjure up some oars for us, please?
Yeah, I don't know that spell.
I've seen you do wild things. You can't make some oars appear? How does magic work? I don't...
By reducing my control of the chaos and elements from other worlds into the mere conjuration of simple tools is absurd, and I also can't do it, and it's something that I wish I could do, and I'm sorry.
It's okay, Wrath. Perhaps we get in a boat and somebody gets in the water and pushes us.
Can I use a battle axe as an oar?
We could make one out of these boxes over here.
There was a great axe back there that I could go get.
You could probably make a makeshift one. And pull out and chop off some of the bits of wood around here and have a makeshift oar. It wouldn't give you a lot of control over the boat, but it would give you something that's nothing.
How deep is the water here?
Beyond the shore, the water, like with the mist hanging over the water and the relatively low amount of light in here, although it is illuminated, the water could easily be 20 feet or more deep.
Well, we can make a makeshift oar. Do we take the waterway or do we take the direct pursuit?
They're assuming we can't go the waterway.
So that is the path less traveled. Now, last time I tried to take us the path less traveled, we ended up in a toilet. So
You can always clean us up, though.
I'm deferring to your judgment, Rudy.
The toilet is the best way to get surprise on them or to sneak up on them. I will get a little bit soiled in order to do so. If you think it's best, Wilhelm.
It's interesting to think why they use the boat here. I wonder if there's something in the water.
Now, true, if the waterway were to lead to where they were headed, then why not take the waterway is the other question. If they have a boat and the waterway was safe, or perhaps it's dangerous, and if you two are up for a little bit of dangerous canoes, then I don't know where it's going to lead. There is no way of knowing where exactly we are going.
With the, I'm going to try to make a makeshift kind of paddle or something that I can at least propel us forward in one of the boats. So out of like either these boxes or wooden crates.
Yeah. As I said, there's certainly something that you could, with the way that they're built, and anyone can it's rough, but you could drive it. If you have to drive it as an action, with two of you working together, because they're not oars now, so only one. It takes more than one person to drive the boat. Two people paddling from either side can make the boat move about 20 feet in a round.
All right, I say we try it out. Let's take the boat
Down the waterway.
down the waterway.
All right. Can all three of us fit in a boat, or is it two per boat?
I think that three of you could all fit in a boat together.
Okay.
Yeah.
The familiars can.
Yeah. Right. Because remember, you occupy a 5 foot square, but like think about a lot of boats, like they're not larger than a 5 foot square, and more than two people can fit in them.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Right. So
Boating season.
yeah, boating season. So I will just see if I can give you all. I think I can. There we go. You should now all be able to control the boat.
Aha!
Whoa.
I sailed away. All right, onward, friends. I don't know. Let's.
Okay. You can also rotate the boat if you need to make it look more convincing. Okay.
I'll drive the boat.
As you take the boat,
Come on, Wrath.
first of all, each of you can roll me a d6 as you cast off.
2.
Oh. I got a 1.
Oh no.
5.
Okay. Wilhelm,
You're welcome. Yeah.
give me a perception check.
All right.
In the dark. Oh, it's dark or light?
It's light. It's illuminated.
Perception. Oh, really? All right. We get a whopping. We get a whopping 4.
Okay. Rudy and okay. So as
that
you
over there?
Eye
are,
patch. It's the eye patch.
as you kick off from the boat, you go to drive the boat, but like you kind of pull it out into the current, and it kicks off the water's edge, and it somewhat pulls out to about here. So you kind of have to kick it off to where the water isn't shallow anymore, and bring it out into the water kind of proper, and then you can start driving it towards the middle. Like, again, you don't have proper oars, so it's a little bit kind of ramshackle driving this thing. But you get there, and it gets out. And Wilhelm, as you're paddling, who are the ones of you that are paddling?
I figured. I mean, I tried to make it. I figured we were doing it, but
because actually, in order to drive this thing properly, you have one person on one side, one person on the other side, and one person then like paddling on one side or the other to help drive like which direction the boat turns, right? Because if two people are paddling on one side and one person's paddling on the other, you're just going to go around in circles.
I'll be the turner.
Okay.
You two are the paddlers, and I'm the one adjusting.
What requires the most strength?
Either or. Either or. And so Wilhelm, as you're paddling, you look down, and there's still like algae and plants still out here, and as you bring the paddle past, at one point, like you moved it through the plants, and one of these like stringy, long, kind of vine-like plants, you move the paddle past it, and you know how there's a way that you expect, like when you move an oar like through plants in the water, that they're going to move in a specific way? Mm-hmm. Well, this plant just darted away. So as your oar touched it, it recoiled like there was an animal. Like it was an animal or had a muscle, like recoiling backwards. And then here and there you catch but you know, maybe there's fish in the water? Like there's here and there's bits of ripples in the water that maybe are fish?
I'm not sure, friends, but there's something in the water.
Sure, there's some wildlife in here that's gone through over the years.
Probably nothing.
What did you see, Wilhelm?
There's some ripples, and something was moving through the plants, I think. I mean, the plants moved in a weird way. So,
how far are we?
You're where the boat is positioned right now.
Well, let's carry on.
Keep paddling. Eyes open.
Keep your eye out.
As you continue to paddle, Wilhelm, you think you hear something speaking to you. It's a low, rumbling voice, and it says, "Not that way. Not that way. Only horror and death is that way."
Does it sound menacing?
It speaks in a deep voice that echoes through the caves.
Did you two hear that?
No.
I didn't hear nothing. What are you talking about? Are you going a bit of Wrath's way?
Wrath, did Bruce just speak to me? Would you be able to confirm yes or no to that?
Bruce is also walking across the water, and he's like licking the water. What do you see, Wilhelm? What do you hear?
I heard a voice.
Remember, this place is thin. It can have strange effects on.
Sorry, what? You heard a voice?
There was a voice echoing through the chamber. It said, "Don't go that way." And I'm trying to decipher if that means we should exactly go that way, or whether this is a warning from something helpful or something trying to steer us astray. I do not know, and I am
It says,
Concerned.
the voice says, in Rudy, you hear this strange, almost androgynous voice in your mind. And it says, the cat lies. The cat lies. Do not trust that cat. Do not trust that cat. It lies. It lies. Kill it. Drown it. Drown it in the middle.
Gentlemen, I am also hearing voices in my head, and this is concerning to me that...
Wrath, what are you doing right now?
I'm trying to steer a boat with a piece of wood.
Is this some sort of magic?
And Wrath, you hear in your mind, I hear you are a seeker of truth. Yes, are you a seeker of truth? You are being led astray.
Where do I need to go?
Bring me your cat, and I will show you real truth. Drown it in the middle of the lake.
You should understand that our relationship is quite the opposite. I am his pet. He is my master. It is I who needs to drown in the middle of the lake.
Do you say that out loud?
No, this is all of my head.
It responds, you are but a puppet. The puppet cares not for the hand that pulls its strings. Pull off strings. What happens when you pull off the strings of a puppet?
It ceases to work. It is not a good puppet anymore. I am a good puppet.
Come closer, good puppet. I will make you new strings.
No. We need to keep heading for that path. We're heading.
I look to Bruce and there is something else that talks in my mind. Do you hear this? Do you feel this?
The Bruce replies, yes, I heard what it said to you. It hurt it. And then this third voice says, no, don't listen to the cat. Listen to me. The cat tells you it has power. It lies. It is nothing but a little lost kitten caught in a much bigger ocean. You do not like the water, do you, cat? The other voice says.
Friends, we keep heading for that waterway. Ignore the voice. I do not trust it.
Bruce, I would stay out of the middle if I were you.
Call
so
Bruce
you know.
back.
He's gonna
Call
go
Bruce
on
back.
the inside. We're keeping eyes open. Keep paddling. Just paddling.
Wilhelm, the voice echoes in your mind. You already abandoned who you are. Abandon all who you are. You want to forget. I will help you forget. You want to run away. I will give you an escape. Come to the middle of the lake.
No, I'm better than that. I don't want to forget. I need to remember. We need to keep going.
What do you do?
Paddling.
You
Let's
continue
get
to
out of
paddle?
Continue to battle.
Okay.
Paddle forward.
Full stream ahead, and I just start rowing.
Okay. As you paddle forward, there is a bubbling in the middle of the lake. And you see a splash and a splatter coming from the middle of the lake. A squid-like tentacle, smooth and glimmering with pink flesh, rises out of the center of the water, followed by another and another. and the tentacles point towards you as the ends of the tentacles open up like blooming flowers with a large white eyeball for nectar. As the tentacles rise, clawing through the air and swimming through the air itself like the air is water, like a great squid. It flutters into the air, lifting out this bulbous body that itself is a fleshy mass of tendrils and tentacles with a deadened eye in the center, the bottom of which a rubbery beard of additional tentacles, some of them opening up again like budding flowers, revealing eyes and spines underneath. The creature flutters up into the air, swimming through it like it is water. And that is where we're going to end for tonight.
Oh.
Great.
It's not even scary. Not even. There's so many conversations happening in my mind right now. It's really confusing.
Rudy is
Can't keep
definitely,
track.
yeah. Questioning her sanity right now.
Is this how Wrath just lives? Is this life? Is this life as a Wrath?
Yeah,
Oh,
like
man.
imagine getting every phone call that it all happens at once and there's no call waiting. it just yeah.
Nice.
Nice. Wow. Well, that's exciting.
Amazing.
That's a good cliffhanger.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to get a week to ponder what my death is going to be like.
How to die. You have a week to figure out how to die in the middle of the lake.
Oh, boy.
Alrighty. Well, that is all for this evening. As always, a massive thank you to our intrepid adventurers, Jill, Joe, and Kelly for playing.
And a huge thank you to Monty for being our dungeon master this evening and continuing on with the wonderful themes of horror and terror that just strike us at every corner of this wonderful campaign. So thank you for running such a wonderful game for us.
Thank you. And thanks also to Kyle, who was following along with us in chat tonight, keeping everybody on track as well. Kyle's back to doing our edits for the podcast version as well, so a big thank you to him. I believe our last episode dropped right on time, and so we'll be continuing back on the schedule of the episodes dropping on the following Friday after the stream. As well on both YouTube, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, all those good places where you can catch up on the show.
Who's next?
Kelly?
I think it's you, Kelly.
Oh, we're skipping. Okay, sorry. I need a new script. All right. If you're enjoying the stream and you want to help support our work, please check us out on Patreon. You can find out how by following the links below or at patreon.com/dungeon_dudes. And also make sure to join our Discord community. We have a phenomenal Discord community, which is exclusive for our patrons, where you can take part in a bunch of various chats happening in there. We have DM advice, character creation, world building, or just general places for you to hang out and talk about all things nerdy. And as well, Monty and I do monthly Patreon hangouts where you can help contribute to future scripts that are being worked on for future episodes of our show. So make sure to join us on Discord there.
Yeah, and Kelly and I will be back on Twitch this Thursday as well at 6 p.m. We are going to be doing our character creation clinic with questions submitted by our Patreon supporters. So those of you that are patrons of the show, please send us in your questions as well. We're going to be chatting for about 2 hours, taking any questions you might have about building characters, character creation, role-playing, and all that good stuff. We're going to be doing these extra live streams on Thursdays, usually about the second or the second to last or the last Thursday of each month, with Patreon submitted questions, and then those will go out on our YouTube channel as all that good stuff tends to as well. Joe, I think you got some people to thank for us as well.
Yeah, as always, we really want to give a shout out to everyone that helps us do this, and all the incredible assets produced by talented artists. They've been given us permission to use them in our stream games, but you can use them at your table on your own as well. So please check out some of these amazing creators. We've got Roll20 giving us our virtual tabletop. We've got Battle Maps by Alex VanDerAa of Neutral Party and Ross McConnell of 2 Minute Tabletop. We've got custom maps created using DungeonFog and Wonderdraft. We've got player character artwork by Jeremy Cole. We have NPC token artwork by Mathias Berben. We have monster token artwork from D&D 5e Monster Manual and other source books, and special effects tokens by Gabriel Pickard. And as always, our music by Tabletop Audio. So thank you to each and every one of them. Please go check them out. They're amazing and talented in their own right.
Yeah, the maps tonight were all by Alex of Neutral Party. So those ones are on his Patreon. So check those out if you want to use them for your own game.
Of course, don't forget to look at the links below for our Teespring store. We can find all of your favorite Dungeon Dudes t-shirts there, including the classics like Yes, Yes, Yes and Troll Killer, but also new ones from Shadows of Drakkenheim like Way Bigger Than Ducks and the Dusk Wardens. Check us out at bit.ly/Dungeon Dudes merch.
Also, be sure to join us live next Tuesday when we record the campaign live on Twitch. Check us out from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Time at twitch.tv/dungeon_dudes. And all of the previous episodes of this show go up on our YouTube channel as well.
Kelly and I also post new videos every Thursday and every other Tuesday on our YouTube channel, where we cover everything Dungeons & Dragons, including advice for players and guides for Dungeon Masters. We got a cool video coming out this Thursday of our favorite 5 weird and random magic items in Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition.